Welcome to Webster Now with your host, Garrett Wagner.
Webster, election season, baby, it's heating up. And today we're doing something a little different. This one's all about your vote, because you matter. And for the third time in the series, we've invited candidates for your 2026 Town Supervisor race to sit down for an interview. Same questions, no plain response, totally unscripted. We're also going to break down what's on your ballot, because there's a primary coming fast, June 23rd. In Webster, we don't get one of these very often. But first, just a quick reminder. Everything here today is my perspective only. Nothing here said reflects official town policy or action. My intention today isn't to tell you how to vote. It's to make sure that when you do, you know who's on the ballot and why your vote matters. Let's get into it. Coming up in November this year, Webster Town Supervisor is back on the ballot. And it's a repeat of last time. Sean Hanna versus Alex Sheldon. And to help provide more information to you before you go vote, we have been and will continue to be interviewing these candidates. Before we hear from anyone, let me tell you exactly how these interviews worked, because this is super important. Webster Now, we're not the town. We're not a campaign. We're not here to play favorites. So the goal, we do the same thing. We reach out to both candidates. We offer a window of a week to find a time to sit down for them to answer the same question. No questions in advance, no plain answers, no editing. Same time limit to each to provide their answers. My goal is not to grill them in the conversation, not to expose weaknesses, just a real unscripted conversation, which is yours to judge. And this is our third time doing it. And that fairness only works if everyone plays by the same rules. So here's where things stand this cycle. We've reached out to current Town Supervisor Alex Sheldon twice to set up an interview where he was not able to make it. During that process, he asked to do it inside Town Hall during business hours or outside Town Hall and to coordinate the scheduling through town staff. And we said no to all those requests. And I want to be clear about why. Campaigns have rules. A political interview should be arranged by the candidate himself or a campaign staff, not run through town operations on the taxpayer's clock or inside Town Hall. That's a boundary for every candidate in every race, locally and nationally. And look, this isn't really about one missed interview. It's about something bigger. We want to provide for all of you a chance to see the candidates, clear boundaries, direct communication, and responsiveness. That's what you should expect from anyone you put in office. As we move forward, we will continue to invite both Alex and Sean to show up for the same questions and provide those interviews back to you. So for this week, let's hear from the candidate who did sit down with us, Sean Hanna, running for the Republican line for Town Supervisor. Same deal as always. He didn't see the questions ahead of time. Nothing here is rehearsed. Whether Sean's your guy or not, whether you think he's Webster royalty or not, this is your chance to size him up in his own words. Take a listen, form your own opinion, and we'll be right back to talk to you about who's going to be on the ballot. All right, folks, we're back. We got a beautiful summer night here. Candidate interview time. Sean, you ready for the next round of questions?
I'm ready.
All right, we're relaxing here. All right, Sean, up tonight, the comprehensive plan. All right, it's moving its final phases. This is a big deal. It's the Webster 2040 comprehensive plan. It's going to guide us in the future. What are your overall thoughts on the comprehensive plan and what it means for Webster?
Well, I don't have an opinion on the comprehensive plan yet, obviously, because I haven't seen it. But it's something that we've needed to dive into for quite some time. As everybody knows, Webster has been growing like a weed. We have really needed to get some structure around our growth to make sure that it's the kind of growth that we want and that it's happening in the parts of town that we want. So the comprehensive plan is something that I think was long overdue, and it's something that I welcome. Now, whether or not it's going to be a good final product is something that remains to be seen. You know, there are a lot of people who have had a lot of questions, a lot of comments on the process that's been used to bring the comprehensive plan forward. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a big process, right? Trying to take a whole town. It's not just a company. It's a town with residents, businesses, the town, sewer, open space, farmers. There's so much that goes into it.
Absolutely, and all of these people have different visions from Webster, and all of these people have different backgrounds. Some have been lifelong residents of Webster, like I was born and raised here. Others are new to the town, and they've moved here for particular reasons, for reasons that they want to see amplified going forward. So you're right. A lot of different people, a lot of different objectives, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different goals, and a lot of different visions. And trying to get all of these people to coalesce around one vision is not easy.
Yeah, and one of the things I've heard from, I think from Matt Chatfield said it best, of like, one of the goals in the comprehensive plan is you want it to be, if it's too broad, it's not helpful. If it's too narrow, then it's too focused. And he always kind of talks about finding that happy middle ground, which is hard in government, right? Like anytime you do that.
It is, and you find yourself in a situation, you know, the old cliche, if you're trying to please everyone, you end up pleasing nobody. So what you need to do is make a decision as to what sort of vision you want to see implemented in the town of Webster, and you go forward with it.
All right, so speaking of kind of that balancing act, you know, one of the biggest complaints about this comprehensive plan, we've heard it from residents time and time again, not enough resident feedback. You know, the prior one, lots of resident feedback, this one not as much. When you think about the town's role and the town supervisor's role, how do you balance a complicated thing like that of finding that sweet spot of too much resident feedback, maybe has some downsides, not enough resident feedback, too focused? How do you find the balance?
I don't think there's such a thing as too much resident feedback. The more resident feedback, the better. It's just a case of organizing it, characterizing it, and seeing how it can be implemented. You know, there will be some feedback that will be inconsistent with what you want to see happen and what you want to accomplish, and there'll be others that'll just provide new or different ideas. So as much resident feedback as you can get is exactly what you want. It's up to the people who are drawing up the plan to organize it and make sense of it.
I mean, that's a good point of like, you know, it's data to listen to, and everyone's gonna have their own point of view. You can rank it, you can pull it together. Not everything has to be weighted the same.
Right.
But we're a big community. You know, 45,000 plus people spread across Webster. Different generations, different ages, different priorities. Like, it's a lot.
It is. And you know, that's sort of what elections are about. You know, if somebody were to come to me, and I know that there are people out there who say what we really need is a lot more high density, low income housing in Webster. We need to replace those worthless farmers' fields with high density housing. That is a perspective. I'm not going to buy it, you know, for a second. And I'll work as hard as I can against it. But it doesn't mean that that those views should be excluded from consideration.
And with that, Sean, you know, what do you think is the best way for the board to use the comprehensive plan? You know, is it something in your mind, in your experience with your long career in politics? Is it, you know, they do it once and they forget about it, or do they kind of actively like go back to it as a guide?
Well, you're assuming that it's going to be adopted, and I'm not willing to make that assumption.
Okay.
A lot of these comprehensive plans in towns throughout upstate New York are driven by Albany, and they're created by consulting firms that have contracts with Albany.
Which is the case of ours. It's exactly how the process
exactly
works.
right.
We got a grant from the state. There's smart, quote unquote, smart goals and objectives.
Yep. And many of those goals and objectives would probably make me vomit. So just because a comprehensive plan is created and presented does not mean that the town board should vote to adopt it. It may very well be that it should be rejected entirely, but we have to see what it is first.
Well, and I can imagine, once again, the nuance, it could be modified. You could say, okay, I like 80% of this.
Yep.
This 20% here, let's go back and adjust it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be an all or nothing of like, hey, we're not going to start over, but like, hey, there's probably something. It's probably like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's probably some benefit in it.
Well, that's correct, and two, you have to consider the possibility that circumstances change, where perhaps a land acquisition opportunity presents itself that was not available 10 years before, or we have to react to a development that's gone poorly in a different part of town. So you need to have flexibility, like you're suggesting, and you need to be able to modify it as you're suggesting. But it all depends upon where you're starting from and what circumstances present themselves.
All right, Sean, thank you for the time.
Not at all.
And residents, stay tuned for more interviews coming up.
All right, Webster, mark your calendar. The primary is Tuesday, June 23rd. Polls open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's 6 in the morning, not 6 at night. So you've got the whole day. Can't make it Tuesday? Early voting runs June 13th to June 21st. Hours vary, so check ahead. Now, one key thing, New York, the state we live in, runs closed primaries. That means you only vote in the primary of the party you're registered with. Registered with neither, you sit this round out, but you're still on for November. Now, if you're not sure if you can vote, see the link below, monroecounty.gov/elections, and click on Look Up My Voter Info. That's where you can find out. So here's what Webster voters will see on the ballot for the primary. For state controller, there's a Democratic primary. Longtime incumbent Tom DiNapoli against challenger Raja Goyal and Drew Warshaw. For Congress, here in the 25 district, another Democratic primary. Incumbent Joe Morelli, Cassandra Leach, Sharita Trawick, and Robin Wilt. And the local one to watch, start clapping, State Assembly District 130, which is Wayne County plus Webster. Longtime Assemblyman Brian Mancalo is retiring. So it's an open seat, and it's a rare doubleheader, right? Doubleheader. It sounds exciting. A Republican primary between George Dobbins, Summer Johnson, and Mark Johns, Webster candidate, term limit candidate, as he wants you to know, and a Democratic primary between Carl Butch Fitzsimmons and Joseph LaMotta. Important thing to remember there, Carl Fitzsimmons, he's from Webster. Joe LaMotta is from Wayne County. You can check out their websites to learn more. Now, the one thing people mix up, the town supervisor race, Hannah versus Sheldon, it's not on the primary ballot. This is the general election, November 3rd. Different day, different ballot. So between now and June 23rd, do two things. Confirm you're registered and check which party you're eligible to vote for. Easiest way, like we said, Monroe County Board of Elections website, and they'll show you the exact ballot. Don't guess, look it up and vote. Here's the bottom line. An election only works as well as the people who take part in it, informed, engaged, paying attention. I'm not here to tell you which candidate to vote for. I'm here to make sure when you walk in, you know your ballot, your party, and the date. June 23rd, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. for the primary. Do your homework and make your voice heard. A town that votes is a town that gets heard. And if this helped, do me a favor. Like it, follow along, and share it with a fellow Webster resident. The more we spread this, the more informed our community becomes. Because remember, every step we take is a step towards a better Webster.
You've been watching Webster Now with Garrett Wagner. Join us next time for more local news and updates.